Hello, and welcome to Always with Awareness. I'm Awa Ladmel.
And I'm Douglas Lodmell. And today we're going to talk about menopause.
I guess what's your take on menopause?
Yeah, we're going to take on the man's perspective of going through menopause.
We just have to tell that we don't know when we go and sit what we're going to talk about. And
Yeah.
sometimes it just surprises us what is coming.
Yeah, I was not really expecting this one today. So
Yeah, here we are.
here we are.
Well, I can talk about it because I
Yes,
went through it.
you went through it,
And
so-
still going through it.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
So,
yeah.
well, what is it? What the heck is menopause?
Hell. Hell. Hell.
Hell.
Thank God for not everybody. I heard that not everybody has to go through it the same way, but I had the bad one. And actually, there are signs that tells you you are going to have a tough menopause,
Oh,
but they're ignored or just you don't know.
right.
And when you have your period at a young age, that's a sign already of hormone disruption.
Oh,
And I found out later on that that was a sign. Heavy bleeding. It's so funny to have this conversation with my husband.
Yeah.
But he is there. He knows a lot because we share a lot.
Yeah.
Because I had to go through mine, and it wasn't easy. And thank God you were there as my support. And it's good to have somebody knowledgeable, and you got knowledgeable just because I was sharing.
well, and we researched and we read and we went to
Exactly.
doctors and we're the kind that want to know the answer, and we're not just
Exactly.
going to sit there and go, well, I don't know.
Yeah.
So we did it together.
Yeah, and if I didn't share or not be aware of it, then maybe we wouldn't be here. I share that because most people that are going through menopause and don't know end up making decisions that they end up regretting later. Because it's a very hard period of your life where you shouldn't be making radical decisions like divorce, for example. Why? Because you can't understand how your partner is not understanding you, and you don't see yourself as being the problem.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the first thing that I learned about menopause is that most people, particularly women, don't even know what it is and don't know when they're going through it.
That's right.
And I was shocked because, my mom was pretty vocal and open and talked, and she went through menopause, so I knew what it was. I was like, oh yeah, I know what that is. Hot flashes and all that. And she was somebody who would share all that stuff.
Thank God.
But many people didn't have that kind of parent, so
That's
they
right.
never knew about it. And it's while some people are doing a very good job of trying to get it out there in the popular conversation now, it's still kind of under the radar. Like people don't know what it is. So what menopause is when the body changes, the chemistry of the body changes, particularly the hormones, at a certain stage of life. And this happens to men and women,
Yes.
but they call it menopause on women,
And andropause for men.
andropause for men, right? And for men, it's a little simpler. Our testosterone just kind of goes from, zoom, like this, and then eventually, around 30s, late 30s, 40, it just starts creeping down. And then when you get to 50s, 60s, it's just kind of in the toilet.
Absolutely.
And this causes, when it's starting to do this and you're 50 years old and you finally made some money and you're seeing your youth and your desire go away, and you're like, oh, I need a sports car and a girlfriend, right? That's midlife crisis for men.
For men.
Now, combine that with a woman who's at the same time has 3 hormones that are all going down, and her change is typically way more radical.
Absolutely.
The symptoms are way more radical.
And we have to share also that now it's starting at a younger age.
Yeah.
Starting 30, 35, I will recommend to check your hormones. And
Yeah.
top of it, if you are somebody who has very hard periods and abundant periods.
Yeah.
And I am so happy we're talking about it now as something, because for a long time it was just taboo.
Yeah,
You
it's
know,
taboo.
no one talks about it. And I'm looking back at families that I know growing up where the mom, they would say, went crazy, or a woman that even really killed themselves, not understanding what they were going through, which was like a deep depression, because it's part of it. When you talk about menopause, you talk about mental illness, because it's a period where the woman is going through some mental difficulties.
Yeah.
Really, you cannot divide the two, because when you cannot sleep at night, you have hot flashes, you dry. I mean, dryness is a thing. I remember a friend of mine who was way older than me. I was living in Paris then. I mean, was experiencing vaginal dryness to the point of, I mean,
Pain.
really pain. I didn't know what it was. Today, I can say, oh, this is what she was going through, you know. So we're talking about it as husband and wife, because we would love couples to start open up to sharing, because we see a lot of people suffering and not knowing. Young kids, I mean, I have a niece who's going through it, and I'm like, honey, you have menopause. She's like, you think that's the thing? I'm like, yes, it is. It is very new now to talk about hormone replacement. For the longest time, nobody wanted to take any hormones because we think it gives you cancer. And what did we do? Women just suffer through it, right? Eyesight gone, hair dry gone, libido, forget it. Weight gain, of course, depression always, crying for
That sounds horrible.
nothing. I mean, the list is like 32 things and more. And believe me, when you're going through it, you have all 32 signs. And it's not like something you can take a Tylenol and go to bed and feel better.
Right.
And that's why we're talking about it, because the only thing I believe makes you feel better is to understand that this also shall pass.
Yeah.
But when you are in the midst of it, believe me, you don't see the light at the end of the tunnel. I was the first one in my family to talk about it. And today, my younger sister is like, thank God. Anytime I go through something, I'm like, oh shit, Awa talks about it, so I'm not gonna freak out, you know. But it's why we're extending it to out there, because it is a thing, and the earlier you prepare your body by giving your brain what it needs, your omegas, your vitamin Bs, menopause, you can go from menopause to early Alzheimer. You can go to menopause to eyesight problems. I mean, the list goes on and on.
Yeah.
But why it's very important to talk about it with your partner is that when it's the two of you understanding what is going on, there's less stress
Yeah.
for the couple, definitely.
Well, I can speak to that because, you know, I'm in my job, I deal with a lot of couples, mostly couples. And my clients are individual couples, and I'm helping them, you know, plan their wealth. And they so consistently now, I've been practicing for 27 years, so I've watched them age through all their stages of life. And now it's just so consistent that when they get to menopause age, when they get to that kind of 40s, 50s, they start having problems.
Yeah.
And I'll have conversations with the husband, and he'll be saying, I don't even know who she is. Like, I don't know what's happening. I don't understand. And I ask, how old is she? And I said, what about menopause? And the answer is, what?
What do you mean?
What do you mean?
Yeah.
I said, menopause, when the chemicals change, when her hormones are going down. And he'll be like, oh, yeah, like, I think I've heard of that. I said, well, have you talked about it? Does she know about it? Most of the
answer's
time,
no.
the answer is no, definitely she doesn't know anything about it.
Yeah.
And so I'm saying, look, before you guys, because they're talking about divorce and how do we handle things? And I'm like, hey, back up. How about go to the doctor? How about go see if there's any way you can get back on track?
Yeah.
And remember, you're both going through it. So the man is like feeling the testosterone go down, the desire go down. The wife that he's had is now a different person dealing with her own stuff. Probably can't stand to see him half the time.
Oh, no,
right?
absolutely.
Just can't even like be in the same
You
room
can't
with
see
him.
yourself, so how can you see anybody
Right.
else?
And so you want to talk about a perfect formula for just an explosion called divorce. Well, that's it.
That's
you
right.
know? And that's why that's the age I see most of my clients get divorced.
Yeah.
And it's almost always just a direct reflection of them not even understanding what they're going through.
That's
now, I'm
right.
not saying some of them shouldn't be divorced anyway. I'm not making any commentary on that. But I am saying it's a really poor thing to be not even aware
That's
of
right.
the things that are influencing you.
It's a critical time, and we decided to do it together as partners, husband and wives, because I see a lot of people do shows, and thank God, Oprah had a show about this, maybe more than one, and we don't address the timing with divorce. And I can tell you there is a timing with divorce when already you were not at a stable place.
Right.
It's easy to just
Well, maybe
flip the page.
you were okay, but not really working on things, but you were okay.
Exactly.
And then menopause comes, and that little last bit of okayness is gone, and then you're divorced.
And yet, at the same time, it is an opportunity. Mm-hmm. It is an opportunity for both
Yeah.
to go to the next stage of life together.
It's a big opportunity.
I mean, it's amazing because that change in your 40s, 45, where you're questioning everything, where life, you feel like there's no life for you, and definitely not the one you knew. So since the husband is part of the one you knew, maybe shove him up in the past too. So it is a time to really see if there is a chance to do the second part of life together.
Yeah.
Because hormones, I mean, they just guide every decision of our lives.
Oh.
It's just simple. I mean, when you're a teenager, to the person you fall in love with, to what you want, what you don't want, to your dreams, it's all about hormones.
I mean, I can't overstate this. Hormones are the driving feature of how you feel.
Exactly.
And if you could have your thoughts right, you could have your energies right, you could have everything right, and then your hormones off, and you will feel off.
Absolutely.
You just can't. And so it's very, very, very critical. And if you know your hormones are naturally going to go to completely schizophrenic at a certain stage, wouldn't you want to plan for that? Wouldn't you want to have a plan for that?
Absolutely.
It's like saying to the captain of the Titanic, hey, you're going to hit an iceberg in 12 hours. Would you like to plan for that?
Yeah, exactly.
He probably would have done a better job.
Yeah, and that's why we're doing this, because plan for it. Plan that you might have that crisis. Because you know what? What it does is I think the most painful things in life is the things you didn't plan for.
Right.
But if you know this could hit me, talk about it with your partner. Like I said, it's an opportunity to go to the second stage of life stronger and better.
Well, and you're bringing a stage component to this, and I think that's really valuable because I do think life happens in stages and seasons. You know, there's a season for this, and you know, you're young and you're having kids and you're raising kids. That's a season.
That's right.
You're building your business. You're working in your job and you're climbing the career ladder and you're building your. That's a season.
Yeah.
And these seasons can kind of match. I can guarantee you that hitting menopause, hitting andropause, it starts a new season. It starts a new stage. Ready for it or not.
Yeah,
It's going
coming.
to happen. It's just like we're here in Arizona and summer is here and we might not be ready, but it's 110 degrees outside. And so we just have to deal with it.
That's
the
right.
same is true with this. When this season of life comes, you're going to have to deal with it. The question is, and the question I would be asking myself is, how do I want that season to look?
That's right.
And where do I want to go
Yeah.
after that when that season passes? Because that's a tough season, right?
Yeah.
It's tough. It's a tough moment.
Yeah. And, I remember when I started, the pain was so big that I would ask any woman that is older than me, like, did you go through it? I mean, what did you do? And in this part of the world, everybody was like, wine.
Wine. You're like, wine.
I'm like, what? So I think that's not the right answer because you don't want to end up on top of it
An
alcoholic.
alcoholic. Yeah, it was fine. Then I menopause. Now I'm an alcoholic.
And it's because those women didn't even know about hormone therapy.
Yeah.
Today I have a friend who says who's on hormone therapy. She's like, and is doing the pellets. If you don't know what's a pellets, go Google. There's different ways of having hormone therapy. And she's like, when it's time for me to go refill my pellet, if you're asking me food or hormones, I'm going for hormones.
Going for the
because
hormones.
that's how much in the low. I mean, you are in the low. And I think the people that will benefit from this episode more than anybody, I hope so, is these teenagers going into adulthood, somebody who's ready to get married, somebody who's in their 30s, 35, and the ones who are going through it right now. The ones who are going through it right now, I'm telling you, there is a light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah.
I mean, really, it passes, and it can last very long. I mean, suffering is suffering. Nobody wants it even for a second, let alone years, right? But there is something to do. I think changing your diet, go see your doctor, see what is there for you that is available for you to do. It is very important that you take care of yourself. This is the time for us women to rekindle the feminine energy within us, to be aligned with the moon and not the sun. The sun is the heat, go, go, go. This is more like the moon, being grounded, respecting the fluctuation of the water ties within us. And it's a beautiful moment. I mean, it's moving you from being spiritual, being in connection with your spirituality, mm-hmm. And it's just amazing. And I'm glad. I really wanted to do this with my husband so that you have intake of a man who has his wife going through it, and how the support is important, how it's important to share, and how not sharing it could be dangerous.
Well, and again, in our case,
yes,
we shared. And so I would say, are you okay? And you would be like, well, other than I want to kill you, divorce you, get in my car right now,
drive forever,
out of town,
hit your head on the tree.
Yeah, and like
which one you choose?
Yeah, it's like other than that, I'm okay, And it was not really a joke, right? Like she was really sharing. Like that's what my mind is telling me right now that I want to do. I want to get out of it, because it's not that she wanted to get out of drive out of the house. She wanted to drive out of her body.
Yeah.
She was just like, I want to be out of this feeling.
Yes.
And right now I'm associating everything in my world with this, and you're in my world, so I want to be out of you too.
And it's you couldn't say it any better. And it's exactly what it is. Your whole body is changing, and you don't know where to be. And it's important to understand in that moment that is your mind playing those tricks, but they got nothing to do with you. I was lucky that I had done enough work within myself to say, this is not me, this is my mind.
Right.
But not a lot of people have enough space to separate their mind with who they are. Right. And menopause is taking you there, no matter who you are.
Well, and that's the gift, right?
That's the gift.
That separation.
That's the wisdom.
Yeah.
When they say wisdom, what it is to be wise, is to not identify with your mind.
Yeah.
You are not anymore a slave to your mind. And menopause is giving you that gift. but you have to be ready. You have to prepare yourself.
Yeah.
Because if you find a body that is already weak, emotions that are already untangled, you are somebody who didn't work on forgiving yourself, forget about forgiving others, you're going to have a tough one.
Yeah.
If you are somebody who is angry, never worked on it, you're going to have a tough one. So your emotions are tied with it. Your mind is tied with it. If you are somebody who never loved your body, well, get ready. You're not going to love this one coming for a while because it might come with weight gain. And here you are. So it's tackling you in all areas of your life.
Well, and throw in there that most women go through menopause right when their kids become teenagers.
Oh.
So add teenage girl, husband that is going through his own midlife crisis and comes home with the Maserati, and you're like, what the hell?
I know. I know.
Like,
You know, and so prepare yourself. Nothing to be afraid of, but definitely need to prepare yourself. Feed your brain what it needs. Like I said, your fish oils. We don't eat enough fish anymore. The fish tank is polluted, which is the ocean. So find the right omega trace. You need it. Your mind has to be healthy. Heal your emotions. Forgive whoever you have to forgive. I mean, I think all of that had helped me being able to be detached enough to laugh about it and to share with my sisters and that's beautiful. Yeah. And today, that's what we're doing as husband and wives. I hope that this was needed and that you could...
well, it was needed. We're not questioning that. Hopefully it was valuable.
Valuable.
Hopefully we actually pointed you in some direction.
Exactly.
Hormone therapy.
Yes.
We're not doctors. We're not telling you what to do. But
No.
I would absolutely encourage you to just look into it.
Yes.
From experience, personally, it makes a huge difference.
Yeah.
It can allow you to ride some of the most difficult waves a lot smoother.
Yes.
And they have made a lot of advances on it, on understanding it.
Yeah.
And a lot of the old wisdom or the old story of what the risks were associated with it,
Yeah.
I think has the research has shown that wasn't really accurate.
That's right.
And so,
and it's not everybody that needs it.
and you
But
might not need it at all.
If you're seeing yourself not being quite okay, not being quite yourself, just go take care of yourself.
Yeah. So you look at that,
Absolutely.
talking, share, talk
Yes.
with your spouse, talk with your partners, talk with your sisters, your brothers, your
Yeah.
family, your parents, if they're still alive,
Your kids. I
mean, just sharing with your kids, hey, I'm going through menopause. I want to kill daddy right now. I want to do, and I want to strangle you for bumping the car the other day. It'll help them because they'll be like, oh, okay, well, good.
Oh, for sure. I did share with my kids and I had, they were amazing.
Yeah.
They were very supportive.
Yeah.
They could understand the days that you just have to understand that mom and the crying for nothing. I mean, that one was very weird for me. Like, I was like, oh, now I understand why my mom was crying a lot. I love you guys, but because you feel like, life is going. So if you see yourself crying a lot out of nothing, just know it's your hormones and it's okay. Go take care of it.
Well, and the more communication you have with each other, the easier
Absolutely.
it will be because you can laugh about it together.
Yes.
And you can actually go, okay, great. Like saying, honey, I want to kill you and leave you right now.
Yeah.
That really disempowers the feeling. And then
Absolutely.
you really aren't going to go kill him and leave him.
I think that's very important to just laugh about all these things.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what direction you're going with your relationship. And I know sometimes it's too hard where it's not time to laugh now, it might come later. But if this can help you just go like, wow, well, that's me. I'm not feeling quite well. Maybe this is time to sit my partner and talk about it and look for help. And if that happens and you save your marriage, we want to hear about it.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, and I just want to say that marriage is not something easy or to take for granted. And it's at that moment when your hormones are off and your whole life is off, it's very easy to throw something like that away.
Yeah.
Even when you have 20 or 30 years of history in it. I've watched clients do it, just throw it away. And it's worth fighting for. It's worth fighting and growing for.
Yeah.
Because for me, the after has proven to be so much even better than the before.
That's right.
In ways that I never would have imagined.
Yeah.
Right. And I, surprisingly.
Yeah.
And so I think that there's a huge payoff at the end of this.
That's right.
Because your spirituality, you become more aware because that separation between mind and emotion, and you're kind of forced into like, this isn't me.
Yeah.
Right. This, I got to look. And that's kind of the purpose of spirituality and meditation, is to separate yourself from your thoughts, that you are not your thoughts.
Yeah.
I'm not the mind. I'm not even the body. Yeah. So but that end game is just amazing, because it's a huge payoff. And then you have that history together. Yeah. You went through it together.
That's right. And when you went through it together, you can help other people go when they're going through it. And that's what we're trying to do here, you know. And sometimes I've seen a lot of women that didn't have a clue what was happening to them.
Yeah.
And that end up saying, wow, thank you. I just didn't know, you know. So maybe it's you.
Yeah.
Anyway, thank you so much. This was our take as husband and wife through menopause, and I couldn't thank my husband enough for being the best support I needed going through it.
Yeah, well, I'm very thankful that my wife was aware enough to be able to talk about it, so that she didn't just kill me and throw me out and drive away. I'm very happy about that. So remember, comment, like, subscribe, and we're really happy to be doing this with you, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you.